And welcome back to Brick Gaming YGO, and it's been a little while, guys, I know, but I'm back here today with a new deck profile. Today I'm going to be covering my 4th place / X-1 Paleozoic Frog Deck, which I think is actually a pretty good option in this format. So I'm going to go over like my card choices, ratios, deck profile, all of that type of fun stuff. And before I get into the deck profile, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you're not already subscribed, it would help out a lot. Please just show your support, and let's get right into this. So first off, I play 3 Swap Frog. This is pretty standard. You just want to see this card as much as possible. It's good pretty much all the time, so just a really nice card to have. Next is Triple Dupe Frog, also really nice to have. You can do a whole Dupe Frog lock where if you have 2 of them on the field, your opponent can't attack any of your monsters, so it's really nice. It actually came up once during the tournament. Then I play 2 copies of Ronin Totem, just really good. I think 2 is correct. If you play 1, it just isn't very good because you're not getting as much advantage off of it. Plus, if you have 2 in the grave, you can just do a bunch of Link and XYZ plays, and generally that can become an OTK, theoretically. Then moving on to the spells, I play 1 copy of Card of Demise because it's very nice in this deck. You get your Paleozoics engrave, you get extra frogs engrave. It's just a really nice card to have. And then of course, triple Pod Desires. It's all kind of banished cards face down in the deck. There isn't really anything too important. A lot of the stuff in the deck is just generic. So it's really nice. The only thing that you care about is banishing your frogs. But generally you can get most of your frogs into the graveyard still pretty easily and still have enough resources. And also another reason to run 2 Ronin Totems in case you banish 1. Then moving on to the traps, I play triple Paleozoic Dynamiscus, just really good. This card's really good like for the last couple of formats, and it just makes a huge difference. So I've been a really big fan of this card. Just really haven't played it much before, and you know, this is the perfect deck to play it in. And then moving on to play triple Canadia. Even though there's like new rulings in Yu-Gi-Oh! About like legal target and stuff, you can hit stuff on summon. So against like Virtual World, if you hit their only like normal summon on summon, they don't have any like spells to play, it can kind of lock them down a bit. It just depends on the matchup. Some matchups really struggle with this card, other matchups really don't. Like if you're playing against Sky Strikers, Canadia really doesn't do that much. But in other matchups, it can be really, really good. Then I play triple Paleozoic Olenoides, just free backward removal. That's always really nice to just have backward removal, so it's a good card for that. And then the one-ofs is 1 Morella and 1 Leoncolia. Both of these cards are really good. Leoncolia put stuff from your banish back into your graveyard, and Morella sends stuff from deck to grave, kind of like a Foolish Burial for traps. So that's actually pretty nice. Then moving on to other traps. 2 Trap Trick. You don't want to play 3, it can get cloggy, but it's really nice to have, and it can help you really just get a lot of SEP going or interruptions going. Next is 2 Punishment. Punishment is just really, really good, I think, this format. Plus, you hardly ever use your extra deck except for Toad plays. So, yeah, Punishment actually is pretty clutch and can really help out. Plus, once again, you're not always using your extra deck. Then 2 Torrential Tributes. This is the only thing that I would change really about the deck right now. For the main deck anyways, it's just upping the torrential tributes. I would play 3 in the future really for this deck just because it came up so much and was good against pretty much every matchup, so I would change it to 3 in the future. Then 2 Lost Wind, and Lost Wind just really good, deals with special summon monsters, has their attacks, negates their effects, just really, really nice. Really good against pretty much everything, I would say. Plus it resets itself from the graveyard when your opponent special summons from the extra deck, so it's a good effect to remember to have. Next is for the Floodgates. Triple Mistake and 1 Order. Now, I did cut down Floodgates. I tried out this deck in a bunch of different variants and forms, and honestly, this was the only one that really had a lot of success. And I had success with this deck twice in a row with this particular version. I played 2 tournaments and went X1 at each tournament. So, yeah. I think this is just the correct lineup. I think any other Floodgates you can throw into the side. But Mistake is just so good because every single deck searches, and your only real search card in this deck is Dupe Frog, or maybe Olenoides in the extra deck. So, yeah, and then, of course, Imperial Order. This deck is almost all traps. You don't really play spells, so it's just really nice. And then moving on to the negates. Triple Solemn Strike. Solemn Strike is just really, really nice. Really good at any point in the duel, and of course came up quite a bit. And then triple Solemn Judgment. Solemn Judgment also came up quite a bit, just really, really amazing card. Really, it's just there to protect your back row early on in the duel. Like, that's usually what it's used for. And yeah, I'll get into my side deck in a little bit, but I play even more counter traps in the side for like game 3 if I go first, or game 2 if I go first, because so many people are just playing heavy back row removal this during this format right now. So it's just really good to have a lot of like negates. Then moving on to the extra deck, I play Triple Toad, of course. Yeah, just really good. Everyone should probably know what Toad does, but during either play your standby phase, you use special summon one frog from your deck, and then you contribute him to negate the activation of spell, trap, or monster effect, and then set it to your side of the field. And then also when he's in the graveyard, well, when he's sent to the graveyard, he grabs a water monster from your graveyard and adds it back to your hand. So you can just have infinite Toads, or if you need something, you can just replace it. Just really, really good all around. Then moving on, I play double Opabinia. Opabinia is pretty good, pretty sweet card. Honestly, I've only ever really made this card a couple of times, but it's just really good when it does come up, and also it's unaffected by monsters. So a lot of people misplay against like Paleo cards and try to use monster effects on them. Like, I've been ashed, I've been Veilered with like Opabinia, and yeah, thanks. It doesn't really do anything because it's unaffected by monster effects, and he also just searches for traps, or Paleozoic traps to be exact, and that's also really nice. You can play traps from your Paleozoic traps from your hand with this guy. But yeah, no, probably the best moment was playing like having a bunch of Paleo stuff on the field. I have like Opabinia and all the regular trap guys on my field. My opponent had AA Zeus. So I go ahead and try Diomiscus, their AA Zeus, and I don't have any other back row. I just have a bunch of Paleozoics on the field, and they have a full field with AA Zeus, and they decide to use AA Zeus as a fact, and yeah, I was fine. They blew up their own field, pretty much. So yeah, Paleozoics are actually pretty nice to have. Then one Animo... Oh god, I can't even pronounce this guy's name. Yeah, Mr. A. I think I only made this guy once or twice during either tournament, but when he does come up, it's just super clutch. He just gets so much more advantage off. Just a really nice card. And that's all the XYZs. I don't think you really need a big XYZ package. I think just going with the basics gets the job done. Now, of course, the other XYZs are still good, but that's just kind of like the package I prefer for right now. Then, of course, Triple Mistar Bully. I never made 3, but I could easily make 2, especially off of like having a bunch of Ronins engraved. It's really nice and can just allow you to go for game. One area, this card's pretty decent. Didn't really come up that much, but you know, there's a possibility that will eventually come back up. Also just adds wires upon destruction, so no, that's not too bad. Then moving on, I play one Phoenix. Phoenix is pretty decent. One Nightmare Unicorn, also pretty decent. The only one that ever came up was Phoenix. Unicorn did not come up once during any of my matches, but Phoenix came up, so good card. Then finally a Boral Sword. I just decided to try out Boral Sword for this deck since there's plenty of XYZs, and there's a really good chance you can get Toad plus Boral Sword on the field if it's late game, but it just didn't really come up that much. And then finally, 2 Elder Entity Nitsis. As you saw, I do play Punishment in this deck, and this is just super amazing for that reason. I would play 3 if I was playing like Extravagance, but I don't play Extravagance in this build, so I think 2 is pretty reasonable. Now moving on to the side deck, this is when it gets a little bit questionable for some of the choices, but also a lot of the choices are just solid and make sense. So starting off, Triple Gamma Seal. Gamma Seal is just super amazing. It's water, you can get back off of Toad, 2200 attack, so pretty much all your monsters are either tied with it, or or there's plenty of removal to get rid of it after you summon it to your opponent's side of the field. Also, there really aren't that many Dragoon outs in this deck. You kind of go first to prevent a Dragoon, so going second, Gamma Seal just really makes that card null and void if you see it. Now, the next card, Harpy's Feather Duster, just good removal, just gets rid of back row. Really good for any like back row matchups, just super nice. And that's all the monsters and spells I play in the side deck. I, of course, consider playing hand traps in this deck, but the only one that I would really play would be Nibiru. So that would be like the only card that I would throw in my side deck would just be a Nibiru. Or 3 Nibirus, not a Nibiru. Then moving on, I play Triple Evenly Match. Evenly is just super, super nice, this format. Just gets rid of stuff. The only thing that kind of sucks against is dinosaurs if they give you a token. But otherwise, just super good card, and even if you get a token, it's a big ouch, but you can wait until the next turn. Then I play Triple Anti-Spell. I was originally main decking this card, but I realized that there's a chance you're going to go up against like Eldritch or some other back row dot deck, like Mystic Mine or something like that. And even though that's kind of nice against those matchups, I just feel like Anti-Spell is better as a side deck card, honestly. It came up more as a side deck and siding against heavy spell decks versus main decking it where you don't know what you're going to go up against, and Mistake, which is a better card all around. So I'd say Anti-Spell is just a really good side deck card right now for this deck. Then moving on is 2 heavy Storm Dusters. Usually this is when I'm going up against more heavy back row decks, or when I side in Anti-Spell, I side in heavy Storm Duster as well usually, and it's just more back row removal, so pretty nice. And then finally, the one card in my extra deck that is questionable is Dark Bribe. Now, with Dark Bribe, I say that's actually pretty good, this format, in some respects. Like, it prevents you from getting blown away. It's another, like, negate, because your only other, like, Omni negate in this deck, like, is usually Solemn Judgment, or if you can get into a Toad. So Dark Bribe kind of makes up for that, but at the same time, it can be a brick in some cases, and it sometimes just, like, allows your opponent to draw into the other card they need, or another form of removal. So, it's iffy. Like, I would probably switch this card out with Nibiru and go that route. But yeah, that's pretty much the only thing that would change extra deck, or not extra deck, side deck wise. But outside that, everything else I think is pretty solid. Now, if you did like the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you're not subscribed, I would highly recommend it. And if you guys want to see more content, just let me know. Let me know if you guys have any recommendations. And I'll see you guys all in the next video. Peace.